On the 30th of June 1960, the Belgian Congo was given independence. At that time, the country was renamed and called the Republic of Congo Leopoldville to distinguish it from the Republic of Congo Brazzaville, which was on the opposite side of the River Congo. Joseph Kasavubu became president and Patrice Lumumba became the prime minister. Political unrest followed independence, and in 1964 there arose some Congo rebels who called themselves Simba, which is the Swahili name for lion. They captured Stanleyville in August of that year, and they executed thousands of Congolese people. There was much cruelty and bloodshed. They also took several hundred white people as hostages, and many missionaries were killed, including men, women, and children, Protestants and Catholics, some in a very cruel manner. The trouble spread into the area in which our missionary society worked, and the British Embassy ordered the evacuation of the missionaries. Many of the Congolese fled into the forest and spent up to a year or more in hiding. One of our pastors and an evangelist were killed. Another pastor was caught and beaten. His wrists and ankles were tightly bound behind him with wet, sandy rope, and he was shown the sack in which he was to be thrown into the river. Then a Simba persuaded the others to let him go if he paid them the church funds. He and his family spent 7 months in the forest, often cold and underfed, until at last they heard the guns of the mercenaries and national soldiers coming to rescue them. Christians told of the comfort that the scriptures were to them throughout those difficult days. They thanked God for the strength, courage, and protection given to them in answer to prayer. The Congolese usually have a particular greeting which they use in their communication with others. Often the significant greeting during those days was, "Suffering has taught me." Our missionaries returned to the area in 1965. Although at that time there were still some parts that were not yet freed from rebel occupation. It wasn't until 1967 that the country as a whole was settled and stabilized. When we arrived in 1966, these memories were still fresh in the minds of the people, and it must have encouraged them to see the arrival of a new missionary family.